Okay, so in this video we're going to demonstrate the daisy chain D-handle tricep extension variation. That's probably the best way to describe this exercise in my opinion. I couldn't think of anything else, but essentially what we're using is the daisy chains as you can see here, and then the D handles as well. Okay, so in terms of setup, you want to make sure, if you can see, that these two top daisy chains are the same size, because in comparison, if I just flip one around, you'll see that this one here is a lot bigger in comparison to that one. So when you're setting up, make sure that you're setting up at the same end on both sides. So you can see that top daisy chain here, they are both the same size, the same circumference on the left and on the right, okay? Then you're going to attach your D handles to that using the carabiners there, and then all we're going to do is we're going to attach it to this bar here. Now the benefit of using this particular variation is that it's more versatile, and it means that we have that adjustability to fit our mechanics. So when it comes to this tricep extension, we want to make sure that the line of force through the actual direction that we're pulling, so that's going to be here where we're holding onto the D handles, they align with our shoulder width. So if we have a bar here in the middle and I'm pulling down, my hands is not in line with my shoulders. My shoulder alignment is out here, so my hands want to be in that same position as opposed to there. And then obviously if it's a wider bar and we're out like that, we're going to be in external rotation, and again our hands and our wrist, elbow, is not in line with the shoulder. So with this setup, it allows us to adjust to ensure that the hands, the wrist, the elbows and shoulders are all adjacent with one another, and therefore it's going to create more efficiency with this movement. So we're going to reduce things like joint pressure. That's going to create more longevity, so meaning we can train for longer, and it's going to create more efficiency in terms of what we're trying to get out of that exercise. And that is, as always, that stimulation to that primary muscle. So we're going to create more of a greater stimulus to the tricep head. So when it comes to positioning the daisy chains, make sure that they align with your shoulder width. I'm not going to tell you where they need to go because everybody is unique, everybody's shoulder width is different, so there is going to be that variability to play. But once you've got that alignment up, ready, essentially all we're going to do is we're going to hold on to the D handles, and then we're going to create that elbow extension motion. And it's as simple as that. So I've got my daisy chains in place, I've got my D handles. Now you're obviously just going to see the back of me, so hopefully you'll be able to see and get a good idea of what's going on in terms of the actual execution. So holding onto the D handles, I get myself into 90 degrees of elbow flexion. So that would look like this, that 90 degrees of elbow flexion. We don't want to go any higher than that, because potentially that can pull us into a passive range. Again, that can compromise the joint integrity and cause any kind of niggles and pains down the road. So you want to stop somewhere around about 90 degrees of elbow flexion, okay, so about there. And then essentially just extend through the elbows. So drive down. At the bottom, you really want to extend through the elbows, squeeze as hard as you can, come back up to that 90 degrees of elbow flexion, and then same again, squeeze at the bottom. What we don't want is we don't want to just get to the bottom, go like that and finish. We want to get to the bottom, squeeze and emphasize on that extension of the elbows.